Welcome to the Anime, Video Games, and Anything Pop Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Maz, and my partner in crime,
Zeffy.
And you're listening to the Odd Otakus Podcast. I'm excited. I know this is a long time coming. What about you, Zeffy?
It's, man, can I just be real with you? And
Yeah.
I guess with anyone like listening who also wants to do something like this, you think it's easy, but it's not. I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, it's kind of, what was that quote you told me the other day?
Man, I gotta hear it. Let me look it up. It's I saved it for this reason.
That is literally us. That quote is the embodiment of the two Odd Otakus.
So done is better than perfect. Yes.
Exactly.
I gotta thank. By the way, that quote is from Sam and Harris Heller. They actually have this channel, Alpha Gaming. Anyone ever looking into getting into this, I recommend highly. If it wasn't for those two and obviously a couple others, that quote would not be the embodiment of this podcast right now.
Especially for Maz, because, I mean, we're going to get into who we are and kind of like our introduction. But honestly, the brains and the person who really got me into this was Maz. And it's something that I wouldn't do with anyone else. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
No, absolutely. I couldn't picture doing this with anyone else. Zeffy and me, we've known each other for a long time. We actually went to high school. We were acquaintances back then, but actually, obviously, time flies, and we're like brothers and sisters basically. And I wouldn't picture like we said, I wouldn't picture doing this with anyone else. And I'm happy she is gonna ride this train with me. I hope we make it pretty far in this. Like, this is our passion right now, kind of our passion project on the side.
Yeah, we have a couple stops, but you know, this is something I want to keep doing for as long as I can. And I see why I wouldn't or why I can't. But we're kind of getting into, this is what we call like our episode 0. Obviously, we're the new kids on the block. And I kind of want to clarify on what this podcast is going to be, what we cover, who we are, and like why you should listen to us. Because I feel like if you have some sort of, like, I want to say, like, you kind of know who we are, you're going to want to listen to us. So I think showing our background is important for this type of thing.
Absolutely. This is like, it just, we wanted to bring two new voices. Obviously, the anime community, video games, and obviously comic books, movies, anything that basically interests us. Just our takes. Even our hot takes.
Yeah, probably hear a lot of hot takes.
Well, you'll be hearing some in the next couple of weeks, most likely. Obviously, I just hope a lot of you guys tune in, like I mentioned. And then obviously, from our personal background, we're two Hispanics. We want to bring that you know, that the Hispanic spice to the community. That flair, yeah. So let's get into the intros. Zeph, what you want me to go first?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm Maz. So just to give a little bit of background, the name of the podcast. I'm an otaku. I'm a connoisseur. I love video games. I love anime. I actually have loved anime since I was a wee little boy. Grew up in the Toonami.
A wee lad.
Wee lad. So grew up in the Toonami era, like some people in our age group, obviously. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, you know, the high quality stuff from our era. Right. Just video games is a passion of mine as well. Also pop culture, like I grew up on it as well. Comic books, manga, just, the superhero aesthetics. I loved it ever since I can remember. I could walk. I was given a plushie of a Spider-Man when I was like a baby. It's just something I love, and then talking to other people about it just like brings that joy inside me. Like, oh man, there's people out there that love the same things I do, and like, I can spend hours just talking about it with them. So what about you, Zeph?
So being a female Hispanic,
okay.
I want to say, not that it was bad, but you know, my brother obviously had a bit more freedom. He was obviously older, you know, he was able to go out, you know, play basketball outside. Obviously, when times change, parents get more, I want to say, not strict, but obviously they have a right to be worried. So a lot of the times I couldn't really play outside by myself, either because I was younger. Everyone else on the block was like a little older. I'm more of like a little kid. So honestly, the only thing I really had to do besides coloring was video games. And I honestly, my background when it comes to like the anime scene or the video game scene, a lot of it has to do with my brother.
Right.
He's the one who showed me, my first ever console for sure was the Super Nintendo. He had the NES and then the Super NES. Loved it. He showed me Mario. He showed me Marvel vs. Capcom, which ended up being one of my favorite fighting games.
Yeah, free MC2, by the way. MVC2.
Hell
free.
yeah, bring it
Hashtag.
back, baby.
Yeah. Oh my god, please.
And at least for the video game scene, it was basically all thanks to him. Again, all I could do as like a young kid was play video games. When it comes to like pop culture, more of like the comic book or like anime scene, he did have a little bit of influence on that, but I feel like specifically anime. Now we'll cover this in another episode, but a quick like kind of like rundown. Obviously, when we were younger, we turn on the TV, we see something like Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not something like I don't know, like if I could pull one from the top of my head. The Animaniacs, for example, like the Animaniacs or the Looney Tunes, something like that. It's not that same style, but you're still kind of drawn to it because you're like, what the hell is this? You never really seen something like that before. I watched a lot of like He-Man and like the Thundercats. So, like those big bulky,
classics.
those big bulky men, big bulky characters. And then you go something to like Sailor Moon or Pokemon and you're like, whoa, this is like totally different. So a lot of the anime, I would turn on the TV early in the morning before like school and I would catch like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Sailor Moon were definitely my big influences growing up. Obviously that spiraled into something more, but I had
more than we know.
Yeah. I had no idea what these things were. I was just like, wow, this is a cool TV show. And honestly, it's what we have today. A lot of the times, a lot of the times it was mostly just that. And yeah, it was just a mix of like American cartoon and, anime, Japanese. And yeah, that's basically what I'm here today. Honestly, a lot of it has to do with my brother and just me turning on the TV and just like, whoa, what is this? And just kind of like delving into it.
That's cool because obviously, like from us getting to know each other as the years gone by, it's like just hearing different perspectives of how people got into each community. It's just awesome. Obviously, like just growing up and then watching these American cartoons, like you said, like Transformers, He-Man,
Transformers. That's
obviously Ninja Turtles as well. Like these 80s shows that just kind of transition to the 90s. We see we're starting to see the big 90s anime boom before we even know. It's like the Silver Age kind of. And just it's just like you knew this was something different. You're like, this isn't American cartoon. Just somewhere inside you, you're like, I know this is in US. I know this is something completely different.
Exactly. And then like again, like TV shows like the Batman animated series, like Shaolin Showdown, like these are things that, or like even Shaolin Showdown, you can tell it has a little bit of like an influence, but I don't know, to me, I could still classify it as like an American cartoon.
Right.
Same thing, like, the Flintstones, Jetsons, I grew up with those too, Scooby-Doo. And you could just tell there was just a difference in not only quality, it's just the way they looked. And I think that's what really pulled me into the anime scene. At least for me, like in middle school, where I finally knew what this term was called, this genre. I'm like, oh wow, it's called anime, okay, and like researching and all that stuff.
I kind of want to go through. I will leave that one for another episode. It's something I really want to dig into, but not to go too much into it, so we can save it for later. I kind of went through the same thing. Middle school, you obviously we're being bullied. Hey man, you like these nerd cartoons?
You're a nerd. You're
But you obviously you have your little small clique that understand and appreciate this beautiful art form. That's like, wow, this is crazy, and there's so much more out there that I don't even know about. And just the plots for these shows, I've never seen it before. It's just mind blowing.
And it's funny, like sorry to interrupt, but
no, go for it.
It's literally what you just said. It's what was crazy to me is that this is, as a kid, you're like, oh, cartoons. But like the more I got older, I'm like, wow, this is art. Like this is literally like a team of people making this. And it's just not like one set genre, like action,
Right.
drama. Like it's a plethora of different genres. So like I feel like, there's an anime for everyone. Even if you're not into it, there's going to be something for you. Right.
I absolutely agree. Like, you can, for God's sakes, there's fucking fish. Oh, I apologize. There's fishy anime. Hey, I'm gonna fish. Ooh.
Skateboarding.
Skating Infinite, by the way.
Yeah. It's like everything.
There's anything. Like, I personally, if anyone ever wants to give anime a shot, there is something out there for everyone. It doesn't matter. If you like psychological thrillers, you like sports anime, you're just slice of life. You like, I know you're a slice of life connoisseur, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You want you want to feel a little bit. Perfect example.
Yeah, it's personal. It's personal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want action. You got it. There's something for everyone, and that's why personally I love anime, because if you want something, you're gonna find it. Doesn't matter. There's a manga, same thing as manga. You want something to read that's not comic books, there's something out there for everyone. You just gotta find it. You guys obviously get recommendations here and there, but you can find it. It's out there.
I do want to point out, because you mentioned manga. So me and Maz, obviously we love this community. We love this type of like brand, I guess I should say. I'll be honest, between the two of us, I do read a little bit of manga, but just so everyone knows, Maz is more on the manga side. And then I'm more of like the anime visual novel type of like in that type of spectrum. We both love the same thing, but we also have like different interests. And I guess that's where I kind of want to go into the next type of session in this podcast. I kind of want to give a brief, like what are our likes and I guess our dislikes. I don't know if you want to go first, Maz. Like, I guess we can go like, favorite anime, favorite manga, video game.
We can dive into those for a little bit. Obviously, this isn't only an anime podcast. Obviously, we are anime fans, but we will once in a while talk about video games. Obviously, comic books, heroes, superhero movies. I apologize. Just so we get a taste of everything. So it's not gonna be like this niche for this specific group. It could be like an overall. Like Zeph said, we're two nerds basically who love to nerd out about anything that interests us.
Right.
So I'll start off. Favorite anime. It's tough because it's changed quite a lot over the years.
Yeah.
So you know how I feel. It was obviously back then. It was DBZ. For those who don't know, DBZ, just in case, is Dragon Ball Z. The big buff man screaming for 30 odd episodes. I don't care what anyone says.
I feel like if you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is, it's like, where are you? Like,
you gotta be hiding under a rock.
Yeah, you don't. Even if you don't know anime, it's Dragon Ball Z. It's one of the most, if not the influential anime that brought stuff to the West.
Yes, 100% agree. It's a cult classic at this point. It's such mainstream now that people who don't even watch anime know what it is.
Exactly.
It's that good. And not good as in like, oh, this is the top tier anime. It's just it's so influential, like Zephy said. Personal favorite, like I said, it's changed over the years, but this is by far my favorite. And I can kind of me personally, I consider it the Dragon Ball equal. I would say Yu Yu Hakusho. To this day, I can probably watch that show 90% of the time and not be bored out of it. I even have the steelbooks. That's how bad. I even want to. There's these Blu-rays in Japan that I've seen before. That if you hook them up together, it's sort of like the Dragon Ball Z Blu-ray set, and it creates this giant picture of all the characters throughout the whole series.
In the Japanese version of the series, or is it like because I know there's a movie too, right? Was it a movie or like?
It's actually the series. The movie I've never seen before. I've heard great things actually. It's just I can't, for some odd reason. I've seen clips and something in me is like I can't watch this because it doesn't have the original dub actors. It's because a different studio voiceovering company was doing it at the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's why I never seen the movie. The OVAs, on the other hand, they finally got the rights to it. Funimation. For those who don't know, Funimation is a voiceover dubbing studio, and they work on Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, My Hero, for My Hero fans out there. They're one of the biggest, and obviously now Sony owns them, which we'll get to later on.
In another episode.
Another franchises. But Yu Yu Hakusho, like I said, I can even like word some of the episodes where I'm like, I'll listen to like a clip and I'll know automatically what the main character is going to say, Yusuke or Kuwabara, his best friend, or however. Obviously, we have a buddy of ours. Me and Zeph. Because Zeph enjoys the show like as much as I do. We introduced it to him. He's actually watching it right now, and he's enjoying it as well.
He loves it, it's I feel like it's a good just to kind of sidetrack really quick. I think that at least Yu Yu or like even Dragon Ball Z, if you've never gone to anime, I feel like the best places to start watching anime, in my opinion, are the oldies. As much as like there's new anime like Attack on Titan, of course that's a big hitter. My Hero. JoJo, for example, like there's a lot of good new anime, but I feel like at least for the people who come up to me and ask me, I always refer them to, the classics.
That's like a great starting point, like you mentioned. It doesn't even have to be those two. It can be a bunch of other, even Pokemon. Pokemon's big. Yeah. It's a video game within itself, and that's also a good show. I know it's for kids, but if you want to check out the classics, that could be one of them. Obviously, there's other ones I'm looking around my room. I see them all over. But like, I would recommend like those two as like a starting point. And not even Dragon Ball Z. Like, you know how we mentioned earlier, we're from the Toonami area, so we got Z first, and then we got Dragon Ball, which is a prequel for it. But I would recommend people Dragon Ball first, obviously, to understand the story. Like I said, oldies are probably the best starting point. Obviously, there's other shows, but that's like the best way.
And I feel like that's how like we prefer. Besides Yu Yu, and Dragon Ball, of course, what do you have any other anime that's like your top, or is it basically those two? I have
a lot. Again, DBZ is probably right behind it. There is, screw it. I'm gonna say it. I would say One Piece as well. Well, One Piece.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Naruto obviously and Bleach, but One Piece though takes those two out of the park. And don't get me wrong, I was obsessed with Naruto when I was in middle school. I was really obsessed with it. One Piece, once I got my hands on it, I did watch the 4K dubs for. We'll leave that for later, actually. But
yeah, I did. I watched the whole 4K goddamn dub until how they stopped. I think it was right after Alabasta.
Yes,
I watched all of 4Kids, dude. And then obviously, again, we'll get this in another episode, but where you finally delve into anime on the internet.
Yes.
And I saw it subbed. I'm like, wow, this is so much better. What's wrong with me?
So you gotta go.
Dreaming.
Yeah. So One Piece is like, for God's sakes, not to spoil much, I've never seen in a show or an anime, or obviously there's been video games that made me cry, but that one has made me cry over a goddamn boat. Just not to spoil it for anyone, but I'm just gonna leave it there. Crying over a goddamn boat. So like, and I know it's still going. Probably still has years to go before it ends. It reaches the ending. But I still have to say, even if it's still going, it's up there on my top 5. And it means a lot to me. Like we have a friend also too. I mentioned this so much that she finally started watching it, and I was like, ooh, I'm proud. Well, even our buddy Ruben. We hope to bring him on later on. He's watching it now too, and he's like, guys.
He's on it. Yeah.
He's like, guys, this is amazing.
I had showed him like way before. We just stopped watching it together because I just kept going on my own. But when I showed it to him, he got hooked. Like specifically on the Arlong arc. No. Like I feel like that's the point where it was a point of no return for him. He was like, "Oh, dude, this is amazing."
Not to continue dragging it on, but I do agree that obviously I got hooked earlier, but I do feel a lot of people who watch it, that's the arc that hooks them finally. Right. If it's now the Barate arc, for some of you who don't know, that's like a floating restaurant ship. And that's where they get one of the crew members. Right. Yeah, Sanji. The next arc, which is very, very emotional, and I think you said once that was probably one of your favorite arcs, right?
Yeah, that's it's still in the beginning, so it's obviously the quality is completely different up till the more recent arcs, but I'd say that's in like my top 4.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. It's just it gets me. It gets to me.
Just the one scene, obviously not to spoil. It's a certain someone's on the ground crying, and it's just that scene alone is very impactful.
Yeah, it's just the whole,
what's she
the whole
crying
friend
for?
thing.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, the whole like, we're friends and I got your back. And, that literally, it clicked. I was like, whoa.
And then obviously I'm a big Gundam fan too. The franchise is very big to me.
Yeah.
But not to keep dragging this one in particular. What about you? What's your favorite anime? You have any, or you got several?
I had such a, like, I have it written down in front of me, obviously, but I just, man, I feel like I have, as a kid, I was like, okay, these are my top 5. That's it. I don't care. And then obviously the more anime you discover, the more anime you watch. The thing is with me, my quote unquote favorite anime, it depends on what I am super into at the time. Not to say that, again, like Naruto or like One Piece, they are my favorites. But I feel like my favorite anime has to do with what's going on at the time, because again, there's just so many.
Right.
My list would be like from the ceiling to the floor. So I guess I'll give, the ones that I'm like really into, that stick out. My Hero, again, it's a newer anime. I know people are gonna be like, oh my, really, like mainstream, whatever.
It's all personal. I was listening to an interview once, probably 3 years ago. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
3 years ago, the moment Funimation got their hands on it, they said, and I quote, "This is Funimation's second Dragon Ball Z."
But it's true. It's like the Dragon Ball Z of this new generation.
Right. I agree. It's like, because back, obviously, when we were growing up, we had Dragon Ball. Right after, we had the big 3. Obviously, we'll get into that in another episode. We had Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, and now we got My Hero. Obviously, there's pros and cons to the show, but it's a very heavily influenced show already for this generation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I mean, the biggest thing for me, it's not only the symbolism and everything like that, but it's definitely the main character. At least for me, I don't know about other people who watch anime, but if I cannot get into the main character, it's going to be very hard for me, or at least main characters. Like, let's say, for example, like, Jujutsu Kaisen, I'll give that example. Right. Like, let's say if I didn't like the main character, if the other 2 were fine, then I'll watch it. If no character drags me in, it's going to be really hard to continue like a show. Right. Just a show in general, I guess, not just anime. But My Hero, it's not only like the main character, it's everybody. Like, I feel like everybody gets their time to shine. Everybody has different personality. Yeah. I feel like the fights are top notch. I love it. The animation, the music alone gets me. So I'd say My Hero is on my top right now. Again, another one would be Yu Yu Hakusho. I love that anime to death. Grew up with it. Loved it. Maz already went more into it, so I won't take too long on why I like it. The next 2, one of them I discovered way later, like I guess high school. And then the first one was something that I grew up with, which would be Sailor Moon and Utena.
Classic. I'm wearing the shirt right now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm wearing the shirt right now.
Yeah, you see? But definitely Sailor Moon, it was... And I know people, like, they say this all the time, but it was a show with all girls. Like, what the hell? That was just something that I'm like, holy shit. It's all girls, what? Because, everything that I've watched so far was either all men or men dominated, right? And I honestly don't give a shit. I love both. I love if it's all men, all girls, or a mix of both. But it was just something new that I'm like, oh my God, like an all girl like squad. Like, what is this?
And it's not only that. It's like it brought a lot of female fans to anime.
Yeah, exactly. And even a lot of boys, that like, I grew up with, they loved it.
I personally grew up with it as well, and I enjoy it. Obviously, I do want to kind of go back and rewatch it because I barely remember it.
Right.
But just seeing old clips, obviously when we were hanging out one day, and I know you put it on just to show some clips, and I'm like, dude, this is so a classic to this day.
Absolutely, especially with Crystal and like the new movie.
It's like the resurgence, basically.
Right, exactly. And then Utena, it's very weird. It's It's a classic. But I love it. It's really deep to me. Just because again, it's a female hero. She's like a tomboy. She's super like gruff. Super relatable. And then I would say my other favorite anime would be obviously we all grew up with Pokemon. Pokemon is almost also like a flagship of anime and video games too. But as much as I loved Pokemon, Digimon was definitely something that I actually prefer Digimon over Pokemon. But as a kid, obviously you're like, well, transformations are huge. It's just totally different. They had one Digimon instead of like a team of Digimon marrying Pokemon. But definitely my top. And then as of recently, Rent a Girlfriend is, I am obsessed with it. Maz knows. I won't shut the hell up about this damn anime. I've been recommending it to like my group of friends, which is again, it's.
I don't mean to cut you off. I haven't seen the anime yet, but I got her the first 3 for her birthday as a gift. The first 3 volumes, and I gotta say, I was like, hey, right before I gave it to her, I was like, hey, by the way, I already read these before I gave them to you. I'm fucking hooked. Like this, I'm all in.
It's cute. It's again, as he said, I'm out of the both of us. I love slice of life. It's just I love it. I love it. It's even though it's not something grand or like out of this world, it's just something so simple. I don't know. I can watch like a 20, 30, 40, 50 episode like slice of anime and I'd love it. And I guess to wrap up my favorite animes, I'm a big Trigger fan, so anything Kill la Kill or Gurren Lagann, that's on my top.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Sorry. By the way, I just side note, I know they're gonna be doing one of the episodes for the Star Wars animated stuff. I'm excited for that. I can't wait. Yeah. I made a joke to Seth a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, get ready, we're gonna get a Promare style, and she just started laughing.
Promare
Star Wars
in space. Yeah, Promare in space. I guess next we can move on to our favorite manga. Again, Maz, you can start. I know your list is bigger than mine, but I guess you could start with that.
All right, so we're gonna go and dive into our favorite mangas. I'm sorry, I'm so laughing. It's just how what she said. My list is long.
It's true.
It's tough. I'm actually gonna be serious. Don't know what would be technically my favorite. But I've read so many, man. Like, holy crap. I guess what I'll do is I'll say like my favorite completed series that I've read, and then I'll kind of do like ongoing. So I'll do both. Okay. So we get like both perspectives. I read some couple like single ones like that only run to like a couple of volumes, like 2 to 3, maybe even 4. But I will say, and unfortunately, this one has never seen a US release, and if there is, please someone hit me up because I am really willing to reread this. For some people who may have seen the anime only, I say my favorite manga is Kenichi's Mighty's Disciple.
Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I think I showed it to you once. So just to give a quick synopsis. So this kid, the main character is a wimpy. He's wimpy. He's always been bullied, kind of. He just wants to read books. His dream is actually to become an author. And so one day he's going. I believe he's going home. It's been a while. He's going home and he runs into this girl who's getting bullied. And he's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna try to help her." And he kind of wusses out. And when he notices, when he's about to try to attempt to help her, this girl kicks everybody's ass. Now, this girl is obviously, he is basically the second main character, I guess, of the show or manga. And her name is Miyu, I think it was. Miyu, I believe. And obviously that later becomes his love interest. So it's a martial, basically just to quick wrap up, is this wimpy kid. He's thrown into the martial arts world. He has no talent, by the way, because he has 5 martial arts senseis or teachers, and they teach him each different styles of martial art. And actually 6 because of Miyu's grandfather. And they all live in this dojo, So he starts living with them and trying to learn martial arts so he can protect her. And then he gets thrown into, like, as the series progresses, he gets thrown into like underground martial arts stuff that he didn't even know existed. And he's like, what the hell? But obviously there's a lot of fan service. Just to let people know. Oh, by the way, for people who are listening and don't know what fan service is, I'll give it a quick example. It's like certain inappropriate shots, in other words. Over excessive, I guess, if that makes any sense. If Zeph wants to add on.
It's basically what that is, I mean, I guess we should have said it before, but this podcast is gonna be for like adults. I guess children shouldn't be listening. Because a curse word might slip out, or we will get into more provocative stuff because some anime does have more provocative themes or scenes, you know what I mean, or controversial. But yeah, basically just a lot of titty, a lot of butts, a lot of
little titty.
Yeah, a little titty here and there, and sometimes it's over excessive. Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of just splashed in there, not really.
I highly recommend it though. So if anyone out there is looking for something to read, and loves heavy combat series like martial arts, fighting, a little comedy here and there, obviously, I highly recommend that one. That is probably my favorite finished, and it hasn't seen a U.S. release, unfortunately, or translation. So obviously you got to go through different means, not to go into detail how to get it or read it. But highly recommend it. If you don't want to watch the anime, don't want to read the manga, I recommend the anime too. Even though it doesn't go as far, but you can gotta kind of get the taste if you want to kind of see it before you want to read it. Right. Really, really, really good. I got Max into it. For anyone who doesn't know, Max is my brother. He'll help us do some editing in the background, obviously.
He'll hop on. He'll hop on for some.
There's a certain episode I want to kind of bring him on, but this will probably be later. But he enjoyed it. He was like, "Hey, pop in the next episode. I'm ready. Let's go." And like I said, I highly recommend it. My ongoing one, I would say, obviously, I mentioned it in the anime question. I would say One Piece. Every week.
Hell yeah.
I have two, but One Piece every single week has me hooked. There's always some, like, now that it's towards the climax of the series, there's questions we've been asking since the beginning. It's finally being told. Obviously,
being answered.
So we're getting more clues of certain questions we've had. Obviously, they're adding more plot twists, more questions to be asked, but more of the mystery is being unfolded, and it's just great. And by far, the current arc Wano is probably up there now with Marineford for me.
The best, right?
The one of the, like, I probably in the top 3, maybe. I would say, because my God, I don't want to spoil it. We'll leave that for a different. We'll do a One Piece episode for anyone who's interested. I know I want to bring Zeph's other half, Gabe, on. He's caught up. And he's caught up, right? He got hooked. So he got tired of me and Zeffy talking about it, and he just started reading, and he's all into. He's
caught up. Yeah, I need to catch up, but I know what's going on. But that's again going back to favorite anime. That's One Piece is up there just because of how influential it's been. Yeah,
and I know people make fun of it because it's like so long, this and that. But there is now compilation films if people want to watch it to catch up quicker.
Yeah.
I still recommend it. Doesn't matter. And then obviously we want to bring our buddy Ruben on because since he's watching, to kind of get a new taste,
another perspective, right?
And there is someone else I want to bring on, but I don't know if she's willing to. But I'll ask her anyways. But besides that, ongoing One Piece, and for my people out there, Zeph is one of them. My JJK boys,
hell yeah,
Jujutsu Kaisen, bringing that freaking Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter flavor. As well as Bleach. Those two are his main inspirations for writing that manga. God damn.
And just the characters for me, they're so good. Like, that's literally what...
Immaculate. Like, I'm so happy. I know, whatever, not to get into it. There's shit behind the scenes with that studio. But MAPPA killed it. Killed it with the animation.
Oh, absolutely. Especially again, don't want to spoil, but, Best friendo. You
Yeah,
know,
best
that whole
friendo.
fight was just that's my favorite fight so far of the whole
Beautiful.
show.
So people know me and Zeph play D&D on the side
Yeah.
on Thursdays with a couple of friends of ours. One
Mm-hmm.
of my characters is not one of my characters. My character is a monk. I made him now. I added to his arsenal like kind of this cursed spirit shit to his punches. Basically, because I was influenced and I loved it so much from Jujutsu Kaisen's power scale. That show and manga is like top tier right now. I would say it's probably up there in my top 10. I will even go as far as. Nah, actually, that's too crazy. Yeah, now it's not in my top 5 yet, but probably top 10. Gives me that 100 feel so much because I read interviews. He's influenced by Togashi, the GOAT. Oh, I apologize. I hit my desk. The GOAT, Togashi, and Kubo, the creator of Bleach. Those are his two main influences for writing. So that's just, oh my god. But yeah, those two are my favorite ongoing, and my favorite completed one is Kenichi's. So what about you? I know your list is probably not long.
Like probably,
but
obviously you have more. It's just
what you
obviously
got
we
from
don't.
me though?
We're timed, but at least I put the 3 that came into the top of my head, and 2 of them are well, actually, I know one of them is completed. I think the second one that I'm going to talk about, it has like a side story, so I guess I wouldn't call it complete.
Okay.
And the third one is just an absolute legend that is never going to be completed, and please don't stop. But the first one, the first one, at least the first manga that like it got me, and then I watched the anime and I was super sad that like the anime had finished. Say I Love You. It's another slice of life. It's
you should.
yeah, it's very very good.
Very good.
I absolutely love it. It goes. Spoiler alert, I guess. It goes as far as obviously they graduate. The couple gets together. They have a kid. This and that. I just love it. The second one.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, the second
I'm in for a
one
treat.
is it's a little spicy. And it's for my LGBTQ community, my gays. I love them to death. My second favorite manga is called Citrus.
Oh, I've
And Maz knows it because
I've heard.
Yeah, same thing. Rambling. Absolutely love it. It's honestly, it is a slice of life, but I guess it's on the ecchi genre. Just because like every goddamn 5 seconds, titty or something of the means. But I love it. It's super cute. It's super wholesome. And then my third favorite. Now it's not a specific manga, but it is someone who does manga, and that would have to be Junji Ito. Anything Junji Ito, I'm
legend.
obsessed. Yeah, specifically Tomoe. Tomoe is my favorite, and then I haven't started reading it yet, but I know I'm gonna love it. Uzumaki is probably gonna be my like second favorite.
I've seen panels. It's
Yeah.
nutty.
Oh, and the anime is coming out. They're
Yes.
making an animation of Uzumaki,
right.
so I'm super excited to
You seen the
see
teaser
that.
for it?
Yes, I did actually.
It gets you hooked already.
Yeah, and at least for that, I do want to read it before I watch it. But Junji Ito, anything Junji Ito, I'm super obsessed with. And that's literally my list. That was literally at the top of my head, the ones that like 100%. I love it to death. And I actually looked at it like after the anime. Citrus, the manga did come first, just like Say I Love You, the manga did come first. But with Say I Love You, I saw the anime first. Citrus, I read it, and then they made an anime. The anime didn't go too far, but they did make one, which I was super happy for. And then obviously Junji Ito, he's a cult classic horror / like suspense author. So
did by chance you see the meme regarding him and Miyu Hizaki or no?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, it was hilarious. I gotta find it for you. But basically, for everyone listening, it's a little meme. Someone drew it. It's half Miyazaki and the other half is Ito, and basically.
Oh wait, yes! And it's like the artist and the art, and then the artist for Miyazaki, he's like depressed. He's so like down, and his art is bubbly. And then Junji Ito, okay, this guy, like if you see his work, you would think he's like the most like unapproachable man. No, he is so bubbly. He loves his cats, and then his work is just dark, gory, menacing. Like, what the fuck?
I found that hysterical because I was like, this is so true to the core, and like this is amazing. Very true. That mad props to.
No, and it's accurate. It's accurate.
Very accurate. Very, very accurate.
Because the way Miyazaki talks, he's just like, you're like, oh, dang, dude, like, just retire. Obviously, he's never going to retire. That man.
Right. Like,
he can't work no more.
for as much as like we love the Studio Ghibli movies, I appreciate him. He's an asshole. I'm sorry. Like I've seen his interviews.
Yeah, he's very
like,
bitter.
Wow.
He looks very bitter. And Juji Ito, I've seen a lot of because getting into his work, I wanted to see like a lot more interviews. So I've seen a couple videos of them and specifically, I think it was Crunchyroll recently who did like a bunch of them with him, and he's just so cute. He's just like this guy, this man. Like he loves cute stuff, but then his work is just the complete opposite. But he seems like a very, very nice guy, like very approachable.
Yeah, like if I know he was at he was at the virtual Crunchyroll expo, which sucked because if it was real life, so
right,
we could have had a chance to meet him, but whatever. There's still time.
Hopefully, I would love to meet him one day, just because he's so influential, and I want to say he's part of the reason why I got back to drawing, just because of his work. His work is just phenomenal. I guess we should go on to the next segment, favorite video games. This is really hard for me.
This is hard.
I don't know about you, but I guess you could take it away first.
This is tough. I was trying to think about it for a bit here, but I have so many, man. Like, and obviously there's more added to the list almost every other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's but I think, man. So I'm still struggling trying to think of one. I want to say Persona's on my top 5. So I'm playing Strikers right now.
I'm so glad you got into Persona.
And I have 4 on my laptop. I'm about to. That will probably be my next game I play after I finish Strikers.
Right, I have to play that.
Yeah, Persona 4. Sorry, I didn't say the whole thing. Because Zeffy like literally praises the game to death.
Yeah.
And once Atlas kind of was like, "Here you go, buddies. It's on Steam now. Go for it."
Finally,
I bought it. And I'm like, "Here you go, Steph. Now you can't bitch at me anymore for not playing."
Yeah, stop railing on me. Especially because my significant other, I got him into Persona because same thing. I would ramble. He finally played 5. Maz played 5, and they loved it. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, you know what else you should play? The one before, also very, very good. You should play it.
But man, this is tough. I would say, you know what? Yeah, I would say, and I'm not even gonna say game. I'm gonna say franchise. I would say Gears of War. I haven't played 4 or I haven't played 5, but Gears of War, my God, that game means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's the co-op because me and my brother would play Gears of War like 1 and 2 like crazy. Actually, like I think it's
no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think it's just it was that age of like co-op, like couch co-op still, it was that, the PS3, 360 era, and you're literally couch co-op just playing Gears of War. I don't know what it was, but I'm more of a Sony type of person, Sony and Nintendo, but I will give it to Microsoft that, wow, Gears of War, that's a hell of a series. Yeah, it's so good.
I had the 360. My brother had the PS3. Even though we're Sony fanboys to the day we die.
Yeah.
Because we haven't missed a Sony console. But I had the 360 when it was out. That was probably the only Xbox I've ever owned. I would like to have an Xbox One, but now that obviously Game Pass is also on computer PC, I probably won't need one. But that's beside
you could always get it on Game Pass on the PC, and I thought this was really interesting. And I'll give it to Xbox to Microsoft for this. You can have the Xbox One, but you could play. And now I'm assuming this is through streaming. You could play the Series X games on the Xbox One.
That's cool. I don't know how they do it. Honestly, that's technical stuff. We can get into later.
Yeah,
But
we'll do another
yeah.
podcast.
We'll do an episode on that stuff. But that technology is like really impressive that they're going that far into it.
Yeah, for you to keep your Xbox One
absolutely.
and then just stream, play whatever like Series X game on the Xbox One still, like that's impressive. I have to give it to Microsoft.
So, but like not to sidetrack too much on that part. It just Gears of War, the franchise is like means a lot. Like I spent on Gears of War 3 alone. I spent hours on multiplayer, and horde mode. I was like dumb obsessed with horde mode for some reason.
Right.
And me and my buddies I grew up with, we spent hours on that. But it's just a story. The story means so much to me because it got me hooked. Like the story of like brotherhood, like your best friend standing next to you can be like more important than your own family. In other words,
right. I agree with that.
Just and in this specific part in 2 and 3 with a certain character had me crying, bawling, because it was like, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's actually. It's been so long. I might as well just say it. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. Don't let this spoil stop you from ever trying this franchise. I've even had the books. That's how obsessed with it I was. I'm missing only one. But in part 2, there's this character named Dom, which is the main character, Marcus's best friend. They kind of grew up together.
Right.
And his wife disappears during the whole, I believe it's called D-Day in the game. I don't remember now. Or E-Day. And the wife disappears. So he's on a mission to basically find her the entire time while they're doing their main mission. Defeating the locusts. He finds his wife in the second one. In this capsule kind of little thing. So imagine, the Iron Maidens, like from the fucking medieval times.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's an example, basically. So that's what it looks like, sort of. And the moment he opens it, his wife literally just falls on him in his arms.
What the hell? When was this in Gears of War? What?
In two, in the second one.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
Yeah. And he's like, no. And before you see her, this is where it gets you. Before you see how she actually looks, you see how she looks normally. Like he goes, oh, I found my wife. He's like, I think her name was Maria. He's like, oh, Maria. Falls into his arms and just collapses. She was literally, she's dead. They just had her in there. They tortured the shit out of her. And this grown man, just fucking, I think he shoots her, too, to end like her misery, if I remember.
Right. So she's...
He fucking balls like he's a baby. A grown man just collapses, and that scene alone, it was a train wreck. Hit me so hard. I was like, can you imagine?
There's something, this is, again, with video games, movies, at least me, I get super attached to these characters because, again, they're so well done and they're so well written, well voice acted.
Yes,
that's a key part for me. Voice acting, like I agree. When the actor is into their role, and just increases it.
The music too. I have to add on to that. Mm-hmm. If the music and like you said, the acting is not there, just forget the scene. Forget it.
It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit.
But my God, I was like in tears. I was like, can you imagine? You are spending years of your other half of your life searching for your significant other to only find her dead in your arms, basically.
Already dead, right.
It's a lifeless corpse. It's insane. And not only that, part 3 had a moment with him. He basically risks his life to get everyone out of, I forgot what it was.
Oh, that I remember.
The main character, which, by the way, is played, for you guys who don't know, I believe is Joe DeMarco, I think his name was. I forgot. He's a voice actor for Bender, for everyone who... Little fun fact there.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Oh, freaking my God.
Awesome. Oh, my God. Another scene, like, can you imagine? Like, dude, your best friend just fucking risked his life to kill himself. To save you guys and your whole squad to get the fuck out of there. So you can continue fighting off this massive horde that you think is... because there's this small amount of remaining the last bit of humanity left.
Right.
And you're like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do this. It lies in your hands. You gotta save the world, basically.
And I think everybody, that's like their favorite Gears character. No, you would say Dom.
I think Dom is mine personally is not Barry. Sorry, is Coltrane.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I love him to death. He's played by a former football star. I forget his name. Yeah. Danny
I didn't know that. What?
Yeah, Danny and Arrow probably know his name. For you guys who don't know, those are two of our buddies. They're sports fanatics. But they probably know his name. I forgot. But man, that scene, like he breaks down. Like he's like, my brother just died because that's his best friend, and he's like, I have no family left, and I just lost the last bit of family I had left, basically.
Is there another video game that's made you feel that way that you would say
like that?
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I would say Final Fantasy 7 to be specific.
Ooh.
7. Yeah.
Ooh.
And especially, I'm sorry, after the remake was released, it's been 2 years now, right? Or was it released last year? I don't remember now.
Last year, so it's been a year already.
Okay, so it's been a year. So like, I know you and me got it day one.
Yeah.
I have videos of me recording myself crying because I was like, I can't believe this game.
It's here. It's finally here.
It's finally
what we
here.
wanted.
We thought it was we thought it was fake. Like
Impossible.
This is never gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like all the fan made stuff we've seen over the years, where like this is not gonna happen. And like, not only that game is Final Fantasy is kind of now personal to me because my brother introduced me into the series, and I feel like Final Fantasy is a style of game that. And same thing with Metal Gear Solid. But Final Fantasy, I feel like it's the type of game that someone has to introduce you to. You can't just pick it up.
Right. And it's funny that you literally just freaking say that because Final Fantasy was introduced also to me from my brother. On the PlayStation, Final Fantasy 7 was... Of course, mostly people who get into the Final Fantasy series, their first one was Final Fantasy 7, and the same thing happened to me. Once he introduced me to that, he introduced me to Final Fantasy X, and then it just... After he showed me that, I kind of got it on my own, but he introduced me to the series.
So I would say 7, and not only 7 as well, the remake because of how gorgeous it looked and it being like a dream come true, basically. I would say Crisis Core. So everyone who's listening, Crisis Core is like the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. Now, it doesn't play like the original Final Fantasy VII. So you guys have an idea. It kind of plays like a new one, but with some slot machine kind of stuff added to it, if I remember.
That, and you have to pick what, like, there's like the different materia, and like you have one button for attacking, and then you switch to the different materia, and then like you keep the X button. The X button is your best friend in that.
Yes, you're right. Actually, correction. It doesn't play like the new one. It plays more or less like Kingdom Hearts. Actually, I would say.
Yeah, I would say. I do see the remake taking some stuff from Crisis Core, though.
Yeah.
Like running and
So, quick synopsis on that one. It's a prequel. You play Zack. What was his last name? Fair. Okay. I always forget Fair. So you play Zack Fair, and he is this soldier who wants to... This is where you first see Sephiroth, obviously. Who wants to be like Sephiroth. He wants to be a number one hero. And obviously, Cloud is eventually introduced, and that is Zack's best friend, kind of. And also where you see Aerith, who is originally his love interest.
Yep.
I know Zephy has a little beef with Aerith, but not to go into detail on that one. Not to go into too much detail. But I highly recommend that game to anyone who loves Final Fantasy and loves the 7. Who loves 7. That game made me cry because of the ending. So I would say that's up there with Gears on emotional.
Right.
Because it leaves you speechless. What the game makes you do at the finale of that game was like, here you go, play Zack one more time. And by the way, this is going to happen.
This is the finale, right?
This is the finale. This is a good end.
this is not the finale that you think either.
Right.
You know, normally a finale is like, okay, we saved the day, we're all here. It's gut wrenching.
And just and I agree. It is gut wrenching. It's like a punch to the mouth, to the stomach, to the feels. Anything you can come up with. It obviously and it's nice. It transitions to the beginning of 7 very smoothly. I have to admit. But just that finale, it leaves you speechless. It's another game I highly recommend anyone. I wish to this day they remake it, or not even remake it, just port it, man. It was a PSP game. You know how many PSP games have been ported at this point?
Yeah.
Like you're like, come on. And I do see them kind of mixing some of the Crisis Core story now into the remake.
The remake for part 2.
That I'm not gonna spoil, but from the clips I've seen, oh boy, we are in for a treat.
It's getting spicy.
Yeah.
In that remake.
But that's pretty much it on my side. What about you? What's your favorite video game?
Oh my god! All right, so I'll try not to get too into it, but I'm just gonna get into a whole plethora of shit because I have so much to talk about. But I'll kind of say the ones that I really love, and then the ones that I really, really, really love. Like I love them all personally, but I'll only talk about the ones that have really influenced me. Persona, it's definitely on my top, like Maz said. I've played Persona 3, 4, and 5. I would love to play 1 and 2, specifically 2. Innocent Sin, I know for sure it's amazing. That's one that I really want to get into, but definitely out of the whole series, Persona 4 has been my top. Like that, again, not spoiling it, not only for the audience, but for Maz, it's just the Persona 4 Golden specifically, which is 100% way better. Oh my god, it's just a message, the final boss fight, everything that you felt in 5, I felt it just as strong, if not stronger, in that game. So definitely the Persona series, specifically 4, I adore it. I'm a huge fan of the Life is Strange series. I have played every single damn game from the first one, the second one, Life is Strange 2, which is, you know, the two brothers, which is separate from Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm. And I've played Captain Spirit.
That's
what
the
else?
one with the kid that is imagination, right?
Yeah, so he actually
I've only played the first one and that one.
Yeah, he actually ties in with Life is Strange 2.
Okay.
And if you play that because it was a demo, it was like a little tech demo. If you play that, you actually get certain things in Life is Strange 2 because you meet him. So it's good. Okay. Yeah, it's good to play it. But you know, I've played that one. I've played the new one, Tell Me Why. I finished it a couple months ago. I
saw you playing that one. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was a tearjerker, especially with the message of being who you are. It doesn't matter what gender you were born with. You can be whatever you want to be. It's what you feel comfortable in your skin. And especially for the LGBTQ community, I have a lot of trans friends. That hit me. It gave me more of a perspective of what it feels like to be in their shoes, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and just to relate, you know what I mean? And that Tell Me Why, it's in the same universe, but it's, you know, they don't interact with any of the old characters from the other games, but also very, very good. 2 other series that I grew up with as a kid. Obviously, I shouldn't be playing these as a kid, but, you know, when mom is out, you get those rated M games in.
Well, they don't know.
Yeah, which would be the Devil May Cry series and Resident Evil.
Good. So good.
Which, ironically, DMC was going to be another Resident Evil game, but
it was supposed to be 4.
Yes. So
we got to thank Resident Evil for DMC.
Yeah, honestly, specifically 4, which I mean 4 is great, but because of the idea for 4, it ended up being a new IP. And then DMC, I kind of started it off. I started off with 2, then 3, then 1, then 4. So I've played all of them as well. I love each to death. Resident Evil, same thing. I played it on the PlayStation, the very first one.
You ever seen the anime for DMC?
Actually, yes, I have. I haven't seen the Bayonetta anime, or not the anime, the movie, which I should. I love Bayonetta. That's another good franchise. Yeah. But the Devil May, I've seen everything with Devil May Cry. Anything I can get my hands on, I
think I have the comics. Yeah, there's 3 comics that they released.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have them in my room, in my closet somewhere. So they released 3 comic books that was supposed to be like a series. And I guess it just didn't catch any attention, and they left it off on 3 only. There was supposed to be, I think, 5. And the covers are nice, like super nice. And they're hard as hell to find.
What?
Yeah. I
need to see these.
Yeah. So, you know Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for you guys who are listening, we got this guy. His name's Orlando. He does like comic book sales once in a blue moon.
Pops
and stuff. I was getting with him, and I was kind of looking through the bins, and I was like, "Yo, can I cop these?" He's like, "Go for it." Bro, I was like, "This is the best purchase I've done on comic books. Fuck this."
Yeah, I guess we'll do. What do you call that? Like a plug. Is that what
plug. Yeah, we'll put in the description what on our YouTube channel at the end. We'll put in the description if you guys want to hit him up. He's on Instagram. Navigate if you guys are looking for pops or comic books.
Yeah, we'll put like his Instagram and all that if you want to cop some really rare pops or whatnot. I believe it was, what is it, BTL Collectibles, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. We'll put it when the video goes live. But for you audio listeners, we're listening to other platforms. Sorry, I think it is BTL Collectibles. Yes.
Yeah, BTL Collectibles. Hit him up. He'll treat you right, give you good prices. Sorry.
Sorry, we didn't mean to sidetrack there.
Yeah, I'll wrap up. Resident Evil again. It's a huge franchise. It's been movies. It's been books. It's been comic books. It's been animated series. Everything in between. Grew up with it, huge fan. And the top 2, the cream of the crop for me, and a lot of people who know me, it's so damn obvious what my top 2 series are. Actually, before these 2, I guess I'll get into my last one, The Last of Us. I'm also a huge fan. That is good. It is, I will say it is in my top 5 of video games that I've played. I know the controversial.
Not to get into details. Yeah.
Yeah, again, if you
just
don't like it,
play the goddamn game.
Yeah, just play the goddamn game. I know why, but it's just so damn good. Like, I've cried in both. The first one was great. The second one was phenomenal. I loved it.
Oh my god, the scene we were talking about the other day on the second one it's not a spoiler for anyone who's wondering, where Ellie starts singing to a certain someone.
Oh my god, yeah.
Take on me.
That was probably my favorite scene in the game. Like one of my favorite
scenes. I bawled like a baby. I was like, this is beautiful. And mind you, that song is good. I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs. But I was like, this scene. It's like everything's quiet.
And the way, it's the tempo, how it was played.
Oh my god! And mind you, it's not like it's not forced either. It's not like, oh, it's a part of the story. No, you actually are looking for some of the stuff, which is a part of the story, and you guys stumble into a music store, and you find a guitar, and she plays the song. So it's not really forced. You could just find just like a little Easter egg.
Exactly.
Wow, that scene is like, oh my god. I'm talking about it, I'm getting chills.
I know. Just talking about Last of Us in general, I get
so good.
I love it. Like the way to end. Again, no spoilers, but this could be the end. But if they keep going, if it could be a trilogy, I would absolutely be happy.
I've read that they're considering it, but I don't know, because it's like you said, where can they go from here? But I've read they're thinking of a third one. I am kind of excited for the show though on HBO.
Yeah, me too. I feel like they casted like a pretty good like set of people for the characters. I still have like my speculations. I'm kind of like,
of course.
But I'm again, anything Last of Us, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then finally, my top two. This would be like, I don't have at least for one of them, I don't have a specific favorite, but I would just say the whole series in general. My second favorite, like all time, would be Kingdom Hearts.
Ooh.
Again, if you know me, wow, so obvious. Yes. Again, this is one of the, the PS2 was actually like my own console because I was using my brother's, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1. The PS2 was my own console. Obviously I didn't buy it because I had no money. I'm a child, but my mom was like, okay, console, your brother's home, here, like, bought the PS2, not knowing of the plethora again of like Sony just killing with all these IPs. Yeah, what am I getting myself into? Kingdom Hearts 1 was, again, a lot of people, for some reason, I don't know why, a lot of people played like Chain of Memories first on the Game Boy and then Kingdom Hearts 1. That didn't happen with me. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and then Chain of Memories, so I don't know.
That was with me, yeah. Max, my brother, he played the how it's supposed to sequence. Obviously, I did it differently. Even though I did know one because I saw him playing it, but that's how I started. Technically, I started with Chain of Memories first.
Okay, yeah, I started with Kingdom Hearts 1, but it's not only Disney, something that I've grown up with all my life. It's Disney, it's Final Fantasy, it's original characters, like everything about this just screamed like me, like, yes, same. I want this. I want this to keep going. And it's been, again, it's a series that many of us, a lot of us that are in our 30s or late 20s, it's grown up with. We've seen the Xehanort saga wrapped up. We're gonna get more, and I'm gonna have a freaking kid, and I'm gonna be like, hey, this is, let me teach you the way. This is the way. Like,
who would have thought that? Hey, we're gonna get more of this. Like, we all thought it was gonna end with 3, and it's like, Nomura, you fucking troll, is like, nope, I'm not done. You still got more to come.
No, yeah, there's way more. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
There's like the prologue. Like, what? You more? Don't do this to me.
Exactly. And then my number one favorite series of all time, and I could say this with confidence, is definitely the Final Fantasy series, which is what led me to love Kingdom Hearts place because, seeing Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, oh, okay, it's Disney, okay. What the hell? Cloud? What the hell? Sid? Aerith? Yuffie? What? Squall? Okay, it was the reason that I got into Kingdom Hearts, and it's the reason why I got into video games, because as much as, fighting games were like a big thing for me, and like, Resident Evil and Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, like all these different games, that I played, there was something about Final Fantasy that it kept me in the video game scene, because I feel like there's people who play video games and they kind of just, obviously with life, you kind of stop. I feel like Final Fantasy is what kept me staying in this type of scene. Specifically, again, 7 was my first one. I've played most of the Final Fantasy games. I would love to play a lot of the old ones. Again, when I do have time, just so many and so amazing. Masnos and a lot of like my close friends. Very hot, controversial take, but
very, very hot take. She's gonna throw out here.
Yeah, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 13. A lot of people hate it. It was very popular in the East, very popular in Europe and Japan. In the West, people didn't like it, unfortunately. But to this day, that is my favorite fantasy, and it's super close to me because when this was coming out, we had the Versus 13 and like 13, the Castrarium saga, and it was gonna be, we had Noctis and then we had Lightning. And growing up as a kid, I don't know what it was, I did not like female characters at all. And this is not to say that women are weak. No, I'm not saying that. I just growing up, I felt so empowered dressing up as a boy, being a boy, playing as a boy, specifically Pokemon. I would always pick the male trainer. I did not like this idea of playing Lightning. I don't know what was wrong with me. I felt more connected to male characters.
Mm-hmm.
And when 13 came out, I was like, all right, fine. You know, I'm not going to get versus 13 for who knows when. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Fucking 14 years later, we got versus 13 in the Final Fantasy 15. But
yeah, like a big fuck you also to add on to that is Nomura going, hey, you guys didn't let me take out 15. Versus. I apologize. Mm-hmm. Versus. Here's a clip of it, by the way, in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, literally.
Nomura just basically giving everyone a big fuck you right there.
Yeah, I love that man. He is like my favorite video game creator. I owe a lot to him and a lot to Square Enix because just to finish off, not to keep going on this, but part of the reason of who I am today is because of Lightning and the voice actress, the creator, just the whole development team of Final Fantasy 13. When I played that
she has pink hair.
Yeah, she has pink hair. Yeah.
Zev has pink hair now too. Just sort of throwing out there.
Yeah, so you can see where I get the influence. But because of Lightning, because of that game, it made me love myself, literally. So I owe a lot to Nomura, and because he designed her. But the director of Final Fantasy 13, Masashi Hamazu, the composer, everything about that game made me who I am and made me love being a woman. So yeah, I love that game to death. That is my favorite Final Fantasy game. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you've never played it and you don't like it, well, you suck. Go play it. And then we'll get into the final two topics which is the.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll speed run this one a little bit. Even though we're on good time, I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
We're on good time, but we'll speed run these two. So you want to start this one? You want to swap it?
Yeah, I'll swap. So we're gonna do our favorite comics or favorite superheroes. So this was also very hard for me. I have too many. I have way too many superheroes. Again, I grew up with Superman, Batman. Superman and Batman were literally my shit. I was like, it's funny because as a kid, I was primarily DC, but with a lot of Marvel. So I feel like I was primarily DC, but like there was a bunch of Marvel into it. But the thing is with Marvel, and this will lead off to like my favorite superheroes, the X-Men. The X-Men were a really big thing for me. Oof. Yeah, especially the 80s cartoon, the X-Men like animated series, phenomenal. And then obviously X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men goes on later, but a lot of the animated series, man, the X-Men for me are the best. They fucking kill the animated. Anything animated series, it's the X-Men is the for me.
I still believe that's probably the perfect adaptation of X-Men to this day. Mm-hmm. My opinion, just that series alone is phenomenal.
Yeah, dude. Like I'll go into detail on specifically who are my favorites, but the X-Men are definitely up there. They make up most of frickin' Marvel itself, like mutants in general. So I will say that Jubilee and Rogue are my top. Those are my girls from the X-Men.
With her Americanized accent from the show.
Yeah, with the sugar. Like, sugar. Oh my God, like that accent, like step on me, please.
Slap me into two. I'll take it.
Gambit, I'll say Gambit is another top. I love Gambit, Jubilee, Rogue. Those are my girls. Specifically Jubilee. She's my favorite X-Men of all time. She goes from a mutant to a vampire to back to a mutant again. So she's a little oddball, but I love her. My next favorite hero, I had already said it. Well, besides one of them, Wonder Woman and Superman. Those are I love them to death. I grew up with Superman. Specifically the animated series, the toys. Like I was super into Superman. Not to say that I don't love Batman, but there was just something about Superman that pulled me in. I will say, obviously, Batman the Animated Series, top tier. That is like the best Batman like animated TV show besides Batman Beyond. Fight Me.
Yeah.
That the boy Terry.
Yes.
So definitely Wonder Woman and Superman up there. I do love Batman, so I'll throw Batman in there. But I'd say the cream of the crop, and a lot of people who know me again will say my favorite superhero, and obviously I think we could say for everybody listening and Maz and just anybody in the world, because he's so universal, would be Spider-Man.
Yes, absolutely.
He's an icon. You don't even have to know Marvel or know comic books or be a nerd. You know who Spider-Man is.
Yes.
As a kid, as an adult, as a teenager. I think he's just
so mainstream.
Right. And I think it's also the relativity. Like, you can really relate to him. It's like, he's just trying to live a normal life to protect the people he loves, but he has to do this. He has to be a superhero, but he tries to balance it. And, when a lot of stuff backfires on him, he doesn't give up. He keeps going. And I think that's the thing about Spider-Man that everybody loves. It's that anybody could be Spider-Man.
Yes.
Just referencing Spider-Verse. Anybody could be Spider-Man, which kind of goes into my other favorite superhero, Spider-Gwen. If you know me, I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I'm glad that Gwen Stacy got more of a spotlight, and they kind of, I don't want to say got more into her character, but they kind of, obviously for her universe, they changed a bunch of stuff. But seeing Gwen go through what Peter basically went through, it's, I love it. Like, her attitude, her costume design, seeing in the Spider-Verse comics, like how they meet, where it's just like Peter and Spider-Gwen, and it's like, oh, like, I couldn't save you. Like, that fucking killed me.
Highly recommend that, by the way. Zeph can agree with me on that one. Highly recommend that one for any comic book lovers out there. For sure.
And I'd say my last, one of my top superheroes is Captain Marvel, because who doesn't love Captain Marvel, man? Like, she's amazing. She's like one of the most powerful figures in Marvel. She's basically Superman. She is a female Superman. So I'm a big fan of Captain Marvel. I guess I'll take it to Maz. Maz, what are your favorite?
So this one, like you said, was kind of tough, but I kind of was able to narrow it down. I'll do DC and Marvel. So one of each. Because kind of, when I was growing up, it was kind of equal for these two. Not to say much more, because you said enough already. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, man. I love it. Spider-Man in general is like, even outside of anime and video games, Spider-Man, it means a lot to me. Like, it's like you said, anyone can be Spider-Man. Your average Joe, basically. You don't have to be some bodybuilder, fucking strong.
Yeah, he's ordinary. He's a geek. He's a nerd.
He's a geek. He's a nerd. It's like saying hey, anyone can be a hero, dude. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be 6 foot something, 200 fucking body built. Like, I can punch through walls. No, I can be a nerd and fight too. I can use my brains. And me, growing up, kind of as a nerd too, Spider-Man meant that much to me. It was he was truly my superhero, as corny as that sounds.
Yeah.
And if I have to pick second one off Marvel, I would say Wolverine from the X-Men.
That's a classic. Can't go wrong with Logan.
Can't go wrong with Logan, exactly. But that's obviously from the X-Men. And then I do love Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man, and then just the Spider-Man in general. It's top tier, my favorite. And then obviously Wolverine and his storyline's just he's always going through some craziness. And
right, and it's funny you mentioned Miles. I think I should throw this in here. Any Spider-Man character for me, that is top tier.
Yes,
Gwen.
Absolutely.
Miles, even Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock.
Oh, the Doc Ock one's so good. Such a good.
I loved that storyline, yeah, and I just think anything Spider-Man related. Honestly, for me, the best Spider-Man is always going to be Peter Parker,
Yeah.
but you have that, of course, especially us being Hispanic. I think Miles being a Spider-Man is not only Hispanic, but for the Black community, it's huge.
Yeah, it is big.
They are we are the superheroes in this boy, But yeah, I just think overall, how you said Spider-Man is just close. It's personal.
And then I'm gonna kind of throw this in there, and just the video games, like the brand ones that have come out recently, the new Insomniac Spider-Man, like puts you in the roles of Peter again, and it's just like, man, that swing around buildings and all that stuff. Like, this is the dream come true, getting in into your palm of your hand, and then even adding to that, I would say the Miles game. Like, this is awesome.
Absolutely. Oh my god,
fantastic.
It's so good. Yeah.
And I highly recommend those two games as well. Like, I can't wait for the second one. We know it's in the works.
It's definitely a good time to be a Spider-Man fan.
I agree. Especially the last 2 years with the releases of the game. And then now the giant bomb that we got this week. Oh my god.
The bombshell, literally.
The bombshell of the new movie. And not only that, we're getting a Venom. Like, even though there's rumors of it being possibly pushed into next year, I just hope that is false. But
right.
I'm still gonna be hopeful and that we're gonna get it this year. It's like you said, being a Spider-Man fan right now is freaking amazing. It's good to be one. And then to end it off, I would say on the DC side, I have a couple. But I would just say, I know, call me basic bitch. I don't care. It's gonna be Batman, Bruce Wayne, Batman. I would even go as far as you just said it. Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond.
He's definitely. I'll be honest.
Sue me, bro.
In the Batman cowl, as Batman, I do love Bruce Wayne, but Terry went up so fast for me. Like, not only the comics, but the animated series Batman Beyond.
Animated series is like that. In my opinion, growing up, that showed like, hey, there is certain shows, kid shows, that could be serious too.
Absolutely. And if you look, what I loved about the Batman animated series is the crossing over with the Superman animated series. Like, they would cross over, like. That's what blew my mind. Like, when crossover episodes happen, especially for like superheroes, it would blow my freaking mind. I'm like, holy shit! Like, obviously in the comics, we know they work together, right. But to see each individual show, like, we have the Batman anime, focused on Gotham, Batgirl, Robin, but then when you sprinkle in like Livewire and like all these other like Superman villains that like come in, or like Joker going into Metropolis, I love that. I don't know about you.
And it was I loved it. The Batman animated series created its own little verse. Not only that, leading to Batman Beyond, obviously in the future.
Yes.
But like you said, it did crossover with Superman. I was gonna say Spider-Man for a second. Crossover with Superman. Not only that, it did transition to Justice League and Justice League Limited, and then also we had certain episodes it crossing over. It was Static. Static Shock, to be specific. And even though it didn't last long, we did get a Zeta Project, which was supposed to tie in as well. So like that alone created such like its own little universe, which is awesome to this day, because that's a lot of people's go-to. So, but that being said, like Batman, it's still, he's up to Spider-Man. Yeah, it's top 3 superheroes.
Right.
And there's always like something new added to his story, and he has, and not only that, he has so many supporting characters and villains that are really good. Like
Batman, right?
Batman.
Yeah.
Obviously Spider-Man as well, but Batman, like, you can just nitpick, like, and people will know, like, hey, there's Bane, there's Joker, there's Billy Calendar Man.
We've had these discussions, and I love you, and I love my friends who love Batman.
I know. She got a hot take, everyone. She could have said it right now.
like I'm not saying Batman is bad. The thing with me about Batman is I get more of a kick out of him with his support characters. I don't know why. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen, or at least the people who know me, I do prefer Superman over Batman. Am I saying that like the animated series is awful? No, I grew up with the Batman animated series. I love it,
and we highly recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, like, and growing up, I feel like my brother was the Marvel fan, and I loved Marvel. Don't get me wrong, but I was leaning more towards like the DC. So my household was a mix of both. Honestly, with Marvel, the biggest prominent figures were X-Men, Spider-Man. That's it. I didn't care for anyone else for Marvel. But at least for DC, I was a huge Superman like nerd. Right? I still am. But you'll probably see me and Maz go back and forth because that's the opposite in us, where he's team Batman and I'm team Superman.
Just so you guys know, like a little bit more about us, like we have a group chat with a bunch of buddies of ours, and she'll throw in a hot take, and I'm just in the background going, "No, I can't say this until we meet in person. I gotta wait because she won't know if I'm serious or not." And we got
or like another buddy of ours. Yes. It's Maz, and then another buddy of ours who, they're Batman. That is like that's their boy.
We mentioned him earlier, Ruben.
I respect it. I respect it. But you have me and my other buddy, Ariel. We're like, bro, but it's fucking Superman. Like we'll get into these like hot discussions. And again, if you're a Batman fan, that's fine. To me, and I'm not saying the character's bad. I just feel like Batman is so overrated. I want a fucking Superman game, damn it. I want a new Superman game. I want another Superman movie, a Superman series. God damn it. Like, that's all I want.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have our Batman Superman episode coming up soon.
Yeah.
We'll do one. I'll bring even a buddy of mine. He's like a brother to me. He is a Team DC, I know, and he does like Marvel, but I know this son of a bitch is Team DC all the way, and he's gonna be our referee, because I know he's gonna play both sides.
He's like me. Like, I love Marvel, but there's something about DC. Like, I know the MCU. Yeah, I know the MCU and the DCU. Obviously, I have to agree that the MCU has just.
They're dominating.
Yeah, like, it's just, I never thought when I was younger, the first few Marvel movies were coming out, I'm like, I never thought something like this would happen. Like, it's something that I think we've all always wanted. All these superheroes crossing over. The multiverse is finally coming into play. Different types of superheroes. While, unfortunately, as much as I love DC, I wish that
they step up their game, bro.
Yeah, and the new Suicide Squad movie, who has never watched it, I fucking loved it. It was great. But I feel like DC still has, like, a long way to go.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I agree 100% there. So,
speaking of movies, I guess, do you want to start the next?
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go on with that one. So this one's tough for me, not gonna lie. Really, really tough for me.
Right.
I'm a movie junkie. Well, I was. I've seen so many, and like just to narrow down one or two, it's rough. Right. Very, very rough. But I would have to say one of them for sure. I would say actually, you know what? Because we mess around a lot about it. Is The Longest Yard. I know it's a football movie, whatever. It's just...
I love that movie. Yeah. I actually really like that movie.
I fucking love it. Everyone in the group knows it. A bunch of our buddies. I can quote that movie all day. I know it's a football movie, but it's the cast that makes it fucking hilarious. And I'm not talking about the old one, because I know there's an 80s one, but I'm talking about the new one with Adam Sandler. Just that movie, it's just, oh my God, I can see it so many times and just piss myself constantly. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And then I guess, you know what, man? Like, my number two, I think, is because we've seen it so many times as a group now, and like we can pretty much quote it between all of us. I would say Austin Powers.
Oh my God.
Austin Powers. And if I have to choose from the series, I would choose the second one, because that was actually the first one I ever saw.
Me too. Trilogy. I saw the second one. Yeah, I saw the second one first.
So I think I will have to go. That will be my number two.
It's and for everybody, for everybody to know, like, we are all, like, our group of friends, like, again, at this point, like we're family, like
Johnson.
super close. Johnson. We're always quoting Austin Powers. I don't know what the hell it is. I think it was Danny. Danny was like, "Hey, we should watch Austin Powers," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen Austin Powers in like since I was a kid." And like rewatching it with you guys, I'm like, "Wow, I really love this fucking movie." Yeah. Like, what the hell?
We do movie nights every once in a while, guys, and we popped it in and we did like a marathon. It was perfect. It was
that and Rush Hour.
My Rush God. Hour, yes, so good. It's so good. but not to dwindle too much on this one. I would say those are my top two. And then if I have to pick a third one, just to throw it out there, I would say Star Wars Empire Strikes Back though.
Specifically, okay.
Specifically, yeah, that is probably one of my favorites, and it's not only because it's Star Wars, because we're also Star Wars heads here. It is because it shows that the villains can win too. Darth Vader comes in, and fucking wrecks havoc. To be specific, obviously anyone who saw Star Wars fans knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And so I would say those are part of my top three. So what about you? I wonder if this is tricky for you as much as it was for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna be really honest with you. I have a really big list.
Okay. Oh, really?
I have a really big list. Okay. Because like I kind of put animated movies, and I don't mean like
okay.
Like I didn't put like Evangelion for example as much as I didn't put like those movies. I put like one shots. You know, like
for anyone who's wondering, we are planning to watch. I don't mean to cut you off, Steph. We are planning to watch the movies.
Yes.
And
we're rewatching. Rewatching and then watch the new one.
And watch the new one, right. We are going to do an Evangelion episode. Just bear with us. This one's going to take a bit, but we do plan to watch them and talk about it because we really, really, both of us really do want to talk about it.
And it is the end of Evangelion. Holy shit. That's it. Like, there's no more. Like, for
anyone who's an anime fan who's seen the series knows how important this is. Because as much as like, look, I don't want to praise it or like bow down to it. Evangelion is important. It is to mecha, even to the mecha genre. In the 90s, that show was very top tier. It was spoken about a lot, and so we feel like it should be talked about in a separate episode. So just bear with us. We will talk about it because we both really enjoy the series in our own ways. Me and Zeffy. And we feel like it is still a very important part of anime history too.
It's very influential, and it's very different. It's not your typical, like, that is something, and I know we had talked about it way earlier in the episode where it's introduce people to anime. Which one would you recommend? Evangelion is so different and special. Like, even I don't understand it in its fullest, but it's just something. It's strange. It's different. It's a masterpiece. For lack of a better word, it's just amazing. And I think I was telling Maz, like the newer movies, you know, like the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. I think those make it easier to understand, in my opinion. But it's again, it's something that we are gonna it's like a Godfather, especially for like mecha.
I agree, and especially I love the mecha genre. I know it's very niche, but like you said, it's like the Godfather of next to Gundam. It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say Gundam is like my all-time favorite. Like, that and Zoids, Zoids and Gundam, like that's my shit.
Yes.
But Evangelion, you know, it's not something I saw when it first came out. I saw it way later, but definitely something that we are gonna cover. But speaking of movies, because this tied in with the Evangelion thing that we just had. I put like one-shot animated movies, like you know, they're not like from an anime or anything. They're just on its own. For example, like Studio Ghibli, which some of them are in here. I have a lot. I'm so sorry because holy shit, I have a lot. I didn't think I was gonna have a lot for do. I guess I'll start off with my live actions. For a lot of people who don't know, I used to hate horror. I'm a little baby. I still am a little baby. I'm a little scaredy cat.
She's a punk bitch when it comes to horror, guys.
Yeah, and you're saying what the fuck, but you like Junji Ito.
She loves Resident Evil, guys, and she's like pissing her pants.
Yeah, exactly. Like
just throwing that out here.
I'm playing Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, and half the time I'm like, I have to put down. I can't do it. I'm a scaredy cat, but I guess since I'm older, I'm getting more into like the darker like movies. Like I'm not a big fan of gory movies, right. But I'm a big fan of like suspense, psychological, just dark, like in general. I'm just not a big fan of the gore. So some of the movies in here, like my all-time favorite horror like series is The Conjuring. I fucking love The Conjuring so much. And it has to do with, Vera Farmiga. I forgot his name. Her husband. Hold on. I gotta look up his name now. I'm sorry. I can't. I have to know the actor's name. Patrick Wilson. There we go. Like he's in so many other movies. I couldn't remember his name, but Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga. Like they are what make the movie for me. Not only that, it's funny. The one who introduced me to Conjuring is Mush introduced me.
Mush. I didn't think it was her.
Yeah, to the first Conjuring. I saw it in theaters, and dude, I was freaking hooked. I've watched all the movies except for like La Llorona and most of the Annabelle movies. A lot of people tell me that's most of the Annabelle movies or whatever. Anyways, maybe I'll watch it just to watch them, but those two are like the ones that I haven't really seen. But definitely, it is a top. I'm a huge Conjuring fan. I'm glad they're the newest one, The Conjuring 3. We saw it when we were in Orlando. I loved it. Big fan.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool because it was like our own little movie theater. We had like us and a bunch of other friends of ours to join us, including like our core group, and it was like, oh, little movie night. This is cool.
Yeah, and we turned off all the lights. We made it spoopy. It was good.
Spoopy.
Spoopy. Getting into the spoopy, the other two franchises. Well, one of them was a movie and an animated series, and from what I'm to know, that's pretty much it. The other one is animated live action series. It got an animated movie series as well. And that would be the Addams Family. Addams Family and Beetlejuice. Those are definitely like for Halloween. Yeah, I am really excited. And it's specifically for Halloween, like Beetlejuice and Addams Family and Hocus Pocus too. Actually, those are like the ones that I get into. That gets me into Halloween. And then after that, it would be The Fifth Element. It's actually one of my all-time favorite movies. And I am not a fan of sci-fi. For everyone to know, I do not like sci-fi. Like, I guess Star Wars is sci-fi, but like I don't like. I like Star Wars, but anything else with sci-fi, bro, I can't get into it. I don't know why. I don't like it, but I love The Fifth Element. From my animated movies, there are a plethora of Disney and Japanese, like anime inspired. The Little Mermaid is my top favorite Disney movie. My favorite Princesa, Ariel. That is my top. Ariel, part of your world. Yes, me too. I would like to be part of your world, please. My next Disney movie is Big Hero 6. I'm a huge Big Hero 6. Baymax, that is like Baymax and Hero. Go, all of them actually. I love all of them, but like Baymax is like the reason for Big Hero 6. And then I guess the final because I'll get into the anime ones really quick now, but my last comic movie would be Spider-Verse. That is my all-time favorite.
Fucking good.
Yeah, my all-time favorite Spider-Man movie. Let's see if No Way Home tops it, but Spider-Verse is. I've watched it 10 times, and
we will see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And then from like my anime movie, again, I didn't put like My Hero or anything because it's part of like an anime series. I was just putting the ones that are like a one shot. Definitely would be my top favorite is Your Name, Kimi no Na wa. Okay. Yeah, that's like again, if you know me, oh wow, it's so obvious. Yes, I love Your Name. I love the story, the characters, the animation, the music, everything. It is top tier. Weathering with You, again, that's one and Summer War.
That's a good one too. I'm kind of happy you showed us that one. When we did
Weathering with You?
Yeah, it was really good. Speaking of Your Name for a second, I am not fucking excited for the live action. Like, what's wrong with these people?
I don't know what's up with
what's wrong with Hollywood?
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, this was like a box office sensation, not only like in Japan, but like around the world. Your Name was doing very well. And I guess because of that, they're like, yeah, let's make. And who was it? Who was the director again? I forgot.
I think it was going to be J.J. Abrams. I don't know if he's still a part of that project. But I was like, wait a minute. This does not look even nearly like a good idea. Having these two, like, even being a part of the same sentence.
No, and it wasn't even in Japan. It's going to be in America.
It's going to be a Hollywood. It's like, okay.
I don't know how I don't know. Like, I just don't think it's going to transition well. I feel like it's specifically as an animation, it was perfect.
Yes, I agree. I don't think that's a movie that should be transitioned to live action at all, in my opinion.
Right. And there's some live action anime movies that I enjoy. Are they amazing? Some of them I think are really good. Some of them not so good. But I feel like and the thing is, a lot of the ones that I'm referring to are made in Japan. Like they're a whole Japanese cast. Like I'm not talking about like the Americanized movies that we've had. But I just feel like Your Name was just fine as in animation. I'm one of those people that I do not want to see it. But I feel like, especially because of the podcast, I have to freaking see it to compare it. So it's like, like I don't want it to happen, but I'm kind of like, it is what it is. Hollywood does this all the time.
Yeah, it's like one of those things we just kind of probably had to like bite the bullet and just, okay, this is our take.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last two from Ghibli, my top two all-time favorite Ghibli, Kiki's Delivery Service and Princess Mononoke.
My first one.
Me too. Kiki's was my first. My second was technically Spirited Away, and then my third was Princess Mononoke, and then it was Howl's Moving Castle.
Kiki, I think, is like one of those little hidden gems of the Ghibli series that no one really pays attention to, in my opinion.
No, and it's not. And you think because of the whole thing with Disney and Studio Ghibli, that partnership.
Yes, that's right.
That was the reason, Blockbuster, Flashback, went in there, VHS section, saw Kiki's Delivery Service. Again, I'm like, wait, this is anime. But what is this? And then, at least for me, that's when the whole black hole of Studio Ghibli and then other franchises that make anime movies. That's how I got introduced to it. But I feel like a lot of people say Spirited Away or Howl's or Mononoke and the other one. Oh my God. Porco Rosso. A lot of people like Porco Rosso too. I
haven't seen that one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I haven't seen that one either. Kiki, every time I ask people for their like favorite Ghibli movie, she's never mentioned. And I find that strange because at least for me, when in Blockbuster, that was like the one that I would see all the time. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of odd to me. But I think we've covered a lot. Can I be honest? I didn't think it would be this much. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be this much, but I feel it's something with me and Maz. Like, I can talk and talk with him. So I think
it's just, we apologize. We're going a little bit over a couple of minutes here, but it's just like hey, this is getting to know us a little bit. Because normally outside of the podcast, me and Zeph, we just shoot the shit for hours, even including with our buddies. Like, we just bring up a random topic and we can literally go on for hours. And this is us, like, getting to know us a little bit more. And like, obviously we want to do this eventually. Obviously, to go on to the next segment, kind of hope this goes really well for both of us, because this is our passion project, and eventually I kind of want to do like little live streams, like recorded live, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
Do like live chats. Obviously, eventually me and Zeph want to do this in person, kind of do like a studio setting, which would be awesome. Like, that's kind of a dream of mine right now with the podcast, because I have so I listen to podcasts on the side. I have three favorites I'm listening to currently. I listen to the Bonsai Pop Cast, which is a YouTube channel called the Bonsai Pop. That's my favorite YouTube channel. Geek Giant Podcast. They're freaking awesome. Being real, they are literally the ones that inspire me to finally stop being a shy boy and like put my big boy pants on and like get my ass in gear and start like
Get out there.
get out here and like do the podcast. And when I brought it up to Zeph's like, yo, I've been wanting to do this forever.
Yeah.
And
I think the biggest thing is not only because we know, like we know there's a plethora of just anime podcasts or movie podcasts or video game podcasts. And it's not only like, oh yeah, like there's a million of them. It's like we want to not only stand out, but we want to be as personal as we can. How we say, we're Hispanic. I'm 26 years old. My birthday's in December. I'm a Capricorn cusp. So I'm like Sagittarius, Capricorn. We want to do stuff like that and be as personal as we can, because I feel like the more you get to know, the more it's going to make you say, why am I listening? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, not only that, like I mentioned, and to finish off, the Nanino podcast, which is another one that like those, mind you, the Geek Giant podcast I mentioned, they started last year. And those guys are having a blast. Like once in a while, I'll kind of comment on their Twitter page. They kind of respond. They interact with the community, which is what me and Zeph kind of want to do going forward as well. We kind of want to build our own little community as well. We want like, hey, this is a place I can go and talk with people like-minded and give our own hot takes, our opinions. Like kind of do like little community events, little things like that. Obviously, going forward. So like that's what we're looking, and hopefully, like I mentioned, like our passion project, this podcast.
Yeah, and honestly, thank you so much to everyone who's listening, friends,
absolutely,
newcomers alike. Like when you guys support us, it gets me emotional. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's heartwarming. It's like we know that people have our back. Again, I just want to take the time to thank everybody listening. Again, friends and people who don't even know us. And I'm sure Maz thinks the same.
Absolutely. Like if you guys want to discuss like some of the stuff we mentioned, like our favorite stuff, kind of bring yours to the table. Leave in the comments of the YouTube channel once we post the video. And for like our audio listeners, check out the YouTube channel. We're also obviously we're gonna post it on other platforms like Spotify. We're going to try to do it on Apple Podcasts. If you are listening to the Apple Podcast, leave us a comment, man. Give us a 5-star rating. Kind of like help us out. Obviously, like if you guys want us to talk about certain topics, that means
let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, absolutely. Let us know.
We also have it's the same name. 2 Odd Otakus. We're on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah. Like again, tweet us. Hey, what do you want to hear? Yeah. What topics?
On Twitter, it's Odd Otakus. We kind of want to put the 2 on purpose. But on like she said, Odd Otakus on Twitter. Instagram is 2 Odd Otakus, and then we can't do a custom URL yet on YouTube, but we do want to do one eventually when the channel starts popping off. But if you guys want to listen to it on YouTube and not on the other platforms, just search up 2 Odd Otakus and we'll come up.
Absolutely. And again, I just want to say, this podcast is made for geeks, nerds, and alike. We love this community. We want to give back to this community. We want to hear from you guys, and thank you guys so much.
Oh no, like you said, like thank you for listening. Thanks for setting aside a little bit of your time out of your busy day to listen to just get to know us. And I hope you guys continue this journey with us on the long run, and then like obviously listen to the other episodes and like and just have a good time listening to us. It will mean a lot to us, obviously. And if you guys, like I said, want to give your take, hit us up, and we'll take it from there.
Yep, we are the 2 Odd Otakus, and we'll catch you next time.
Later.